Many national parks in the U.S., including Yellowstone, Yosemite, and the Grand Canyon, were once sacred lands inhabited and cared for by Native American tribes. However, when the U.S. government created the national park system, tribes were forcibly removed from their ancestral lands and barred from practicing their traditional land stewardship. Today, some argue that Native Americans should have full control over national parks, while others believe these lands should remain under federal management. But who should have the final say? One of the strongest arguments for Native control is historical justice. Many national parks exist because Native people were forcibly displaced. For example, the creation of Yellowstone in 1872 led to the removal of the Shoshone, Crow, and Blackfeet peoples, while the Miwok and Awanichi were driven out of Yosemite. Returning these lands to tribal nations would be a way of acknowledging and repairing past injustices. As Lakota activist Nick Estes states, these lands were never empty. They were stolen. It's time to return them to their rightful caretakers. Another argument is that tribal management could improve conservation efforts. Indigenous communities have practiced sustainable land management for thousands of years, using controlled burns, seasonal migrations, and deep ecological knowledge to maintain balance. Studies have shown that lands managed by indigenous groups often have greater biodiversity and healthier ecosystems than federally controlled areas. Some believe that tribes could restore sacred sites, protect endangered species, and combat climate change more effectively than the federal government. However, opponents argue that national parks should remain public lands for all Americans, not controlled by specific tribes. Some fear that native-run parks could lead to restricted access for non-native visitors, higher entrance fees, or changes in regulation. Others worry about legal complexities, since many national parks are now under multi-state or federal jurisdiction, making a full transfer of ownership difficult. A possible solution is co-management. Some national parks, like Bears Ears National Monument, already involve tribal councils in decision-making. A full expansion of this model could allow tribes to regain authority over their lands while keeping them accessible to the public. Co-management could also include reinstating native hunting, fishing, and ceremonial rights, which were stripped away when these lands became national parks. So, should Native Americans have full control over national parks? At the very least, tribes should have a leading role in managing these lands. The real question is, can the U.S. government recognize native sovereignty while ensuring public access and environmental protection? What do you think? Let's continue the conversation.